Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. In today's episode, we're taking a look at a really bullish crypto scenario. We're taking a look at a couple of potential exit strategies for if the tide turns well. We're taking a look at some very sad Ripple news, and we're also taking a look at a couple of really interesting crypto articles. So guys, before we get into that, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of you that have been doing that. I really have been seeing a ton of support in the last couple of weeks and I'm loving it. And also, make sure you follow me on Twitter at TheDustDBC. And if you have any stories on XRP or on crypto to share, just at me on Twitter and I'll check it out. I check everything out that you guys send to me. So yeah, I really appreciate all the help you guys have been given. First of all, really bullish scenario, and I guess I should add here a little bit of a disclaimer that even though we will be discussing a bullish crypto scenario, it does not mean that crypto will do good. It does not mean that that is my opinion, and for no reason should you be buying crypto right now because of these statements. All right, this is just to give you guys a broader picture of what's happening in the crypto space, to give you guys some indication of what's going on. All right, please take it all with a grain of salt, as 9 out of 10 times analysts are not correct. Having said that though, Crypto Bidlord, a key figure in the crypto space, has said on Twitter, "It is time to start paying attention because alt season is moments away. Load up and strap yourself in, the pump is coming." And of course, whenever people say it, there's always a lot of cynicism, if that's the correct word, a lot of critique, and a lot of doubters. And me as a person, I always doubt people who say this type of stuff because of course they have their own agenda, and also how do they know, right? But I've been checking out Twitter for a little bit to see what others are saying and thinking, and I just saw on Cointelegraph as well, Bloomberg, Bitcoin is setting up for a 2017 like bull run. And of course there are people who doubt it, but maybe the article is already gone? No, I saw the 404 error, but it's still here. Bloomberg says Bitcoin is setting up for a 2017 like bull run. A recent Bloomberg report concluded that Bitcoin may be priming for a massive bull run. Right? A lot of this good stuff we've been seeing, and I think basically all of this comes from the gold Bitcoin debate. So of course the stance of gold and the stance of Bitcoin related to it. And of course the very crazy oil price that has been going on right now, which makes a lot of people switch over from their normal investments over into crypto. At least that's a lot of what I've been hearing the last couple of days. Jay Chu, and again, take this with a grain of salt, also said on Twitter, XRP potential burst alert. XRP USD is finishing up a potential burst fractal in the next 12 hours. Translation, XRP is going up with a potential burst pattern. XRP community, watch out. All crypto tide will rise. Watch out, short sellers. And it's an interesting comparison from Bitcoin from a couple of years ago to XRP now. He says that's the fractal analysis, and that's a little bit of a discussion that's been going on. You either buy it or you don't. Personally, not that much of a fan, but hey, some people do enjoy that type of stuff. Well, what I meant to say with all of this is that a couple of days ago, I made a video on some big shorts going on. I believe even yesterday I saw some big guys pumping in some shorts and saying that if we make a move above, I believe $6,800 already, and a couple of other key figures, $8,200, and one analyst also said like $7,300, they'll have to cancel their shorts. And I've been seeing a lot of positive movement happen in Bitcoin, and I guess a lot of the coins actually. I mean, the whole market is green for that matter, and it made me wonder whether or not these shorts have also kind of mellowed out, as I mean the tide has turned quite drastically. A lot of people were shorting. That's what we discovered yesterday. But then today everything switches around, which also again shows the unexpectability. If that's even an English word, guys. I'm not natively English, so excuse my language. The unpredictability of crypto is just so ridiculous of how this all can happen. It's crazy. But then a little bit of sad news from Mongoose here. Man, this is all sad. All the good ones are going, and it is a follow up to his first thing. Miguel Vias no longer at Ripple according to a LinkedIn page. and he shows it right here. Miguel VS, crypto and payments business development executive and startup advisor over at Ripple. He quit, or at least he went away. I find this really strange to see, because I've been following Miguel for a couple of years now. I've been showing all of his things he's posted for so long, and it's kind of strange that all of a sudden you won't see him anymore in any of the news or any of the stuff. It's kind of strange to see that go. He was a key figure over there, and yeah, maybe it's wrong. I don't know, because right here you can see he said, "Still at Ripple, guys. This is November 2019. No plans to go anywhere else. Too much work to do." And I don't know, by the way, if this is fake or not. It could definitely be so. BG123, still with Ripple and still much to do. When XRP is more liquid than a G10 currency, I'll buy myself a chocolate chip and get back to work. I think this is fake. It really looks fake now that I'm thinking about it. But I don't know too much about that. I don't know too much about that. I just hope he didn't leave, but it kind of looks like it, and that's some really sad news to see one of the key members go like that. We don't know what happened, but hey, a little bit of a follow-up to what I just said. There's a lot of buying opportunities, some big investment opportunities that are coming up right now, and I will be making another video on that on my second channel called Dusty Finance. A link is in the description below. It's my more traditional finance channel with no advertisements on there. Guys, I have no advertisements. I try to make as many videos as I can on good stuff. Try to make the quality as high as possible. If you guys have any feedback, let me know as well. And yeah, what's been happening right now is that a lot of, stocks have been going down, but also a lot of innovation is going to be taking place in the next upcoming months, as of course it's kind of looking like there's a crisis up and coming. And whenever there's a crisis, a lot of people will lose their jobs, and that will also mean a lot of, not native or not normal companies are going to be thriving on that, which of course will mean they'll make a ton of profit, make a ton of innovation, and a lot of new ideas will pop up. And of course, that will also allow us to get a couple of good new investments going on. And one of those investments for a lot of people is crypto. And of course, I'm always an advocate of whenever you invest into something, make sure you have an idea of what you want to achieve with that. If you're going for a stock with a dividend, like for example, a Canadian or an American bank, I'm not that strict on it. You can just invest a lot of money in it. It will just give you dividends and you'll be fine. I guess you don't have to worry too much about it, about what your ultimate goal is, because I guess it's giving you intermediary payments. However, and the same goes for coupon bonds. However, if you're going for an investment with no dividend in the meantime, just an investment from beginning to end, I always recommend people to have an exit strategy in place and to know what their goals are. For a lot of people who are investing into XRP, however, that goal is to retire or to stay invested. And one of the things I should say right there is that this plan that I've kind of made here is still in progress, and I'm looking at a couple of ways to innovate it really quickly. Should I add a couple of people to the document to just start writing it and get a full plan going? Should I just write it in a live stream, just keep it going? Should I just write it myself in the dark? I don't know. Should I just share this document and everybody does what they want with it? If I do that, though, I don't think a good thing will pop up. So that's why I'm I don't want to too much. And also, it'll differ for everybody. Because, of course, everybody has a different retirement goal. Everybody has a different amount of income. Everybody has some different situations as to which they will have to adjust. But basically, here's a rule of thumb for everybody. If you already have the slightest amount of XRP, and I'm talking about 25 XRP or so, there will always, in whatever scenario ever, be a person in the world with less XRP than you. Which is actually kind of satisfying, I find. Because even if you were to only have 25 XRP, there will always be someone with less. Is that not kind of strange to think about? And I think almost all people watching this video will have at least 25, right? At least. But the 4 points of your retirement goal should be based up like this. First of all, the amount of dollars in your retirement goal. And I've told you guys very, very often, if you're going for a long-term type of scenario, you should always aim for at least $1 million for your retirement, because that's just really a minimum of what you most likely will need to live a really, really happy life for a very long time, at least in most really, really developed countries. I would say like America and maybe a lot of parts in Europe. $1 million is a good start. With less, it's possible, but it's a lot more difficult, and I don't recommend it. Then you gotta, of course, put yourself up for a little bit of a price prediction. Make it realistic. Don't go for $10,000 per XRP, because you might have to wait a very, very long time to retire. And it's also something you can hope for and maybe want, but not something you should really expect from when you're going to retire. You should know your amount of XRP that you will have accumulated at the point of retiring, or I guess at right now. You should just add up all your XRP and then match those couple of points together, which is really important. So write it all down, all right? Write it all down, all these three things. And also, I guess, what you would do at $1. Oh yeah, so here was also another question I think you should go and answer for yourself. If XRP were to go to $1 right now, what would you do? Right? And you should write it down, because I've seen over the last couple of years that people say one thing today, and then when it really happens, they do something completely different because they're afraid, or they are, kind of taken up into the moment, which of course has a lot to do with FOMO. But if you write it down, a lot of people, their mental game increases, and they often can make better choices because they can remind themselves of their thoughts of, I guess, non-chaotic times. So if you have a very good strategy in place, you think, write it down right now. Just write down what you think you should do if XRP were to turn to $1, and keep that paper or whatever you wrote it on in a good place, where you can just see it every so often and get reminded of it, because it's really a key to mastering this game. Here's a little bit more info as to why I chose $1 million. It's because of the 4% strategy, which is another video that's going to be coming up in like a couple of hours on my finance channel. I think it's a really, really, really cool video. I think I've already done a video of the sort before, but I'm doing another one to explain it once more, how I think it should all be working. Then, of course, you got to kind of look for yourself, what amount of money are you going to need per year, right? And that amount of money, for example, here, $40,000, is going to be your 4%. So if it's $40,000, just divided by the 4%, you'll get your total amount of retirement money, which in this case is $1 million. Then your XP price, and of course the amount of retirement will have to, I guess, depend on whether you already have a house, whether you want to buy one when you are retired, or whether you want to buy one right now, or whatever you want to do, right? Because this guide is more so for people who want to retire early, like 30, 40, something like that. And then you got to get yourself an XP price prediction going on. And I recommend to not do just one price prediction, but do a couple, and maybe write it out like this. Like, for example, the cash out price, let's say 10 cents. I should actually do it a little bit higher. Like maybe like $1 possibly. And then like maybe $5. And then your amount of XRP you cash out at that point, 1,000. Will of course then be $1,000 as well. You guys get it. You should just make a little bit of a table like that for all yourselves, just so you know exactly when you want to spend what. And this is important because there's 3 scenarios that can occur, which I've explained in one of my legitimate exit strategy videos, and not so much retirement strategy. And in that one, we explained there's 3 main scenarios. One, a person who, sticks with his money all the time. They never sell their XRP. They just have a lot of money on paper but never do something with it, which has the highest potential to become, I guess, worth the most, because that's always in the risky investment. The second person is the take profiter, who's just going to run all the way to take profit. Like, for example, when they've doubled the money to take off 50% and then go for the outlier, maybe another 50% profit to take out the rest. And the other person is just the layer person. To, I guess, explain that is that they just buy like this or sell like this. They sell at $1, then another chunk at $5, another chunk at $10, another chunk at $25, which is, in my personal opinion, the smartest way to do it. But all right, after you got a couple of cash out points, and please guys, cash out every so often. Maybe don't start at $1. Maybe you will keep buying at that point. That's all fine. But if it ever hits all-time high again, or a little bit above it, I really recommend you guys to just cash out a little bit so you can enjoy the money you've just generated, because a lot of people made the mistake of not selling anything at the peak of 2017 and they're still regretting it. And learn from your mistakes. Then, of course, if you've done a little bit of that, you don't have to put the quantity in yet. You gotta then look at the quantity of XRP you'll have. You can, put it in the whole sheet like that. Like you can put in when you'll sell how much XRP, but you can also just keep some prices in your mind, then look at the amount of XRP you'll have, and then try to line everything up. And let's say, for example, you didn't do any intermediary sales quite yet, then this is what you would end up with. Quantity to price, here's all the quantities, here's all the prices. If XRP were to hit $10, you'll need at least 100,000 XRP to retire with $1 million, and so it goes on and so it goes on. And it's something to keep in mind for everybody, because retiring with crypto, if you've only got $1,000 right now, is not impossible, but it's going to be pretty damn difficult. If you only, let's say, start out, for example, with $1,000. To retire with XRP, it's a little bit more difficult than to retire with a very, very shitty coin, because, of course, with a very, very bad coin, you'll have a higher chance of getting a good percentage than, of course, with XRP, as they're already quite high up. Can it happen? Yes. Can $1,000 turn into $1 million? Yes, definitely so. But it will be a little bit of a road, It's 1,000 times, of course. And then, of course, you got to take into consideration what exchange you want to cash out on. Because we had a discussion recently of what would you do if you had $150 million, for example, in crypto right now, because, you made some good investments. It's a very good question, if I do say so myself. A very good question, because what place are you going to be able to cash out at? And how the frick is that going to be working with all the taxes and all the fees from the cashing out and whatnot? And how will they ever deliver so much money to your door? And how can you ever exchange that much money? It will take a very, very long time, right? And that's another reason why you should be cashing out intermediarily, I don't know, just for also not making that happen, that you have too much money at one point and never sold in the meantime. That one thing comes from King Solomon, XRP Owl. He says, India's largest software service firm, Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, will launch Israel's first fully digital bank in what is being seen as a transformative initiative that can impact the business model of other sectors as well, and TCS is Ripple enabled. That's pretty damn good to see, right? We're seeing a lot of progress even in this very, very, I guess, quote-unquote bad time. And yes, they are with Ripple. Amazing to see. The spread, I guess the way they're spreading right now is like wildfire. It's completely insane. And we're really starting to see, I guess, another chunk of that snowball effect taking place right here. Because the last couple of days, at least in my opinion, have been really, really good in terms of news. Every time I look on YouTube, every time I look on Twitter, I just see more and more good stuff happening. And it really excites me a lot, guys, because that means we, of course, have some really cool stuff to look ahead of in the future. And we're going to all be part of it, which is pretty damn amazing. But yeah, one question I have for all of y'all, that is, what do you think is going to be happening to crypto now that oil has done all these crazy things? Also, what do you think the link between digital currencies and gold will be? Do you think there is one? Do you think there isn't one? And also, guys, what do you think of the exit strategy? Are you going to be going for one? Or do you have no plans at all? Have you ever thought about it? Let me know in the comment section. See you guys again in another crypto video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow my second channel called Dusty Finance. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TheDustyBC. And also don't forget to sub to this channel because I'm trying to hit 50,000 by the end of the year. Take care, everybody. Have a very, very nice day.